Hello and welcome to another Driven Catalyst live stream. Today is Wednesday and we are going to do a Yes and UI episode. So most everyone is new here. If you're here, you're probably new here. And if you're not new here, you're my mom. Hi, Mom. We are going to do Yes and UI, which means using the tenets of improv to move from concept to wireframe with an app idea. It's going to be a little bit different because it's a party of one here at Driven Catalyst Live. But basically, the format I've built for myself is I'm going to get 7 randomly generated words from the internet. You will all join me. I will screen share as we get those 7 randomly generated words. And I will move through a process of word association. So I will find a way to stitch together those 7 words. I'll sort of verbally process what those words mean to me. And then I will take those words to Adobe XD and we will start putting together some semblance of an app concept and idea. And as I construct the wireframe design for that app concept and idea, I will try to verbalize some of the considerations that go into putting together an interface. If you're wondering, how on earth is this improv? I have only seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? The answer is it's not totally improv. It's kind of taking, like I said, the tenets, some of the quick pacing, having obstacles thrown at you, very much the corporate improv that if you ever were to go to like a team building event for work and whatnot, taking the soft skills from improv and applying them to UI. But we're also on live stream, so without a doubt, like I'm sure at some point there will be some form or fashion of whose line is it anyway quirk going on. And that's it. That's the elevator pitch. The elevator is very slow and a little bit broken down, though, so it was quite long-winded. But let's dive in. As promised, Scout's Honor, here is our website to get 7 randomly generated words. We're going to refresh them, so we're not going to be working with stake, laundry, pocket, relationship, compete, cutting, and question. I'm so sure that there are many people that are looking for a dating app solely to find a partner that will grill them steaks and do their laundry. And to those people who are watching this and watching me generate new random words, I am truly sorry, but it's the rules. Oh, okay. So we've got date, instruction, great, torture, mystery, payment, and flower. I'm going to do copy them. And now we are going to transition back to not having a Safari tab up on my screen. Okay, let's see. This is maybe my first time having to switch to switch platforms that I'm screen sharing with mid-episode. It's not the first time, but it's the first time that I've realized, we may face some tumult while trying to do this. Okay. Bear with me. I am opening up an Adobe XD file to get working, and then we will copy and paste the new words into the document. And then here we go. Wow. OBS is behaving today. OBS is being so kind. And I think it's going to be pretty easy to accomplish what I need to right here with you all. We're doing minimal vamping today. I'm sorry. Okay. Here we are. This is my favorite Adobe application. I don't know if it's really my favorite, but it has become in my top Adobe faves. These are previous Yes and UIs. If you are interested in seeing what the heck was going on with these, you can go back and find previous live streams under our live stream tab. But right now, I'm going to paste our new words. Okay, hold on. And copy and paste an iPhone 14 Pro Max screen. And now is the part where I start verbally processing through what on earth we're going to do with date, instruction, great, torture, mystery, payment, and flower. So when I first saw let's make them big so it's easier to read. Torture and mystery very much made me think of like an escape room. I think it's probably because they came after the word date. So when I saw date, torture, and mystery, that was kind of where my first thought went. Payment, flower, instruction. When I see date and instruction together, I more so just think about like a masterclass type thing, like some sort of app where you can take lessons. Great, torture. Let's actually talk about this. Okay. Something I talked through with one of my bosses in our Tuesday meeting was, oh, wow, that was yesterday. In the meeting we had yesterday, is the idea that UX is meant to optimize your experience or the user's experience while they are using an app. And, that takes a certain level of smarts, of understanding human behavior, and certainly graphic design smarts as well. But there's this new trend that is, I think, healing the world that seeks to optimize the experience of adding obstacles to a digital user experience. So let me say it like a real human. There's this new trend to use things that limit your screen time, to buy devices outright that will completely cut you off from apps. There is the new Hank Green app that I have yet to download, but I've talked to many people about it that have downloaded it and that have kind of given me the pitch for that app. No particular reason I haven't downloaded it yet. I've just been busy. I am a Hank Green fan, big time. So I probably will go download the app to, I don't know, support Hank Green after this. But that is like a new sect of user experience design, is designing something that, rather than optimizing the experience, optimizes your ability to limit your experience digitally. I was kind of talking through, wouldn't it be so cool to come up with some form of app that makes the user experience so clunky that you just almost start naturally weaning yourself off. No clue of what that would look like, what form or fashion, but it does intrigue me as someone who is super duper interested in digital anthropology, how we conceive of digital spaces, our behaviors online, and how they change depending upon what platform we're on, general compulsive behavior in the online space. All of those things, digital cultures like that, are so fascinating to me, at probably just as a Gen Zer. But the idea of connecting that interest with UI design is so cool to me. So this is coming from reading the words great torture together, is thinking about the idea of an app that slowly bugs out as you use it and it becomes a great torture to even use the app. But so you don't have to cold turkey TikTok, right? You go from, okay, like I'm addicted to TikTok. And over time, it becomes buggier and buggier. And you start to wonder, like, is this even worth it? And before you know it, it's not worth it. Kind of like what happened to Twitter. Usually I censor myself a great deal on live stream, but who knows? Today, this may be my last live stream. So we're going to go out with a bang, and I'm going to throw the punch at Twitter. Okay. I kind of got a little bit off course, but that was in the vein of explaining my interpretation of some of these words and how they could be stitched together. But I do think one of the tenets of improv, we do need to commit very quickly to some semblance of a concept. So if I'm thinking about what all of these words kind of have in common, they all are evocative of sort of a tone of like, and that is probably because the first word was date. They are colored in my mind with the idea that finding people to go to an escape room with is what I'm thinking, or like people that are into murder mystery dinner theater. Flower makes me think of cooking classes. Instruction makes me think of cooking classes, like all of these together. So I am thinking of some sort of app that so the way I see it is there's either an app that helps you schedule these things. So it's like a Groupon sort of platform that is just has this niche of I don't know, sort of conceptually out of the box events. The other option, rather than it being a Groupon situation, is it being like a Zoom call where you log on and the thing is there. And we haven't quite done things like that. That is kind of a whole beast in its own right to tackle. So I think I'm interested in doing that. I think the concept is going to be a sort of hybrid Zoom call, but also episode. Are we all familiar with the app Episode, where it's basically like role play, like a game where you read a story and then you can pick answer choices to interact with the story? I'm thinking something like that all kind of fits this interactive murder mystery theatrical dinner theater mess that I have concocted in my brain. That's going to be pretty immense, though, to try and wireframe. And I will say, we're not going to be able to, on this live stream, do everything. But let's try. Okay, so if I'm thinking about this app that in my mind you log on and the hybridity is important to me because I think that's what makes this whole thing unique. Otherwise, it's like what? You're just like wireframing Episode on live stream. That's weird. Integrating like a video call of some sort though, or a chat room, I guess. But I like the idea of more of a Discord-y type chat, live streaming, not in the capacity that we're doing it, but in the gamers capacity is a thing. Ooh, okay. walk with me here. So there's games like Jackbox games that are like party games that people all play together. And there are people that connect, certainly a whole generation of people, I would say, that are connecting by playing games together over stream or online. Usually they're high impact, action, quick moving, Marvel Rivals type. Me throwing out game slang. I'm not a gamer at all, but I am trying to connect. But I've watched gaming streamers. I watch gaming streamers. I know enough. But right, like usually it's pretty safe to say people are playing more fun games than just like something like Episode. Gen X Pin of YouTube acclaim, my queen, has the series where she plays Episode on an edited YouTube video. What would that look like if it was a streaming thing? Wow. The more I talk about this, the more it sounds like a total nightmare. And so it's time to just commit. This purple, I kind of just copied and pasted it from the previous dog years pet grooming app we cooked up on Yes and UI. But something about the dark purple is so nerdy and theatrical in a way that I feel fits what we're doing with this app. So I'm a little... Do I keep it? Should we keep the purple? Why not, right? We're going to keep the purple. Okay. And then, my favorite thing ever is to pick a little font and come up with some stupid name for what this could be. And frankly, I'm stumped. Except as I went to... No, that could have weird connotations. I was going to name it Scarlet because as I went to say that and I said frankly, I started thinking frankly Scarlet, I don't give a damn from Gone with the Wind. And I don't know. I think names for apps that are like vague and don't really make total sense, like Spotify, for example. That's one of my favorite... it's one of my dad's favorite names to be like, you'd think maybe it would have some origin that connected with what the platform does as a whole, but it doesn't at all. It's just sounds cute. He loves pointing that out. It's a catchy name. Sometimes you just come up with a catchy name, and I like the idea of doing that here with Yes and UI because we have no skin in the game. We could totally just come up with a catchy name. But something about Scarlet, I think probably just because to set up this whole live stream, I connect to the Scarlet box. And is that accurate? Yeah, I think it's Scarlet. And then there's like the whole brand of film cameras that are Scarlet. It just like, to me, like doesn't fit. Me arguing with myself, I come up with a name and then explain to you why we're not using it. Okay, let's go with... Let's go with Scarlet. Because I realized while talking myself through that, I'm quite literally, I'm not following the one rule that is set. I didn't have anything better to suggest, and I just shot down the first idea. Don't have a great reason to commit to this idea beyond the idea that committing and moving through it will yield more than sitting and spinning further. So the app is called Scarlet. Ooh. What if we do Scarlet like literature? See. And now, okay, hold on. I like this purple as a text color, and we're going to commit to my favorite. I'm so obsessed with cream right now. I don't know why. I think cream colors look so fun in UI. Like, I like the idea that this is like kind of giving Goodreads. I was in a really interesting class in college where we studied. This class could quite literally not exist right now. But we were studying gender constructions in technology. We're exploring gender in technology because technology is pretty ungendered if you really think about it. Except for that, it's not necessarily, because we have a way of, as humans, anthropomorphizing everything. And so it's really interesting to analyze the way that seeps into things. One of my assignments was to pick a device and basically make a timeline of every single generation of a device. I did the iMac, and we analyzed the different visual, like the features, the different like design choices, I guess. And we used sort of a gendered lens to talk about it. And in the early days, part of my project was studying how in the early days of Apple, part of the idea was to make the computer a household appliance in the same way that we conceive of like a sewing machine or a oven or a stove or an iron, right? Like a domestic household appliance. Because prior to that, that's not what computers were at all. I kind of like this funny little font. Have we used it before? So when you're bringing something that is so cold and rigid and imposing, like computers were at the time, into a household, the best way to make it not cold and large and imposing, the best way to indicate to users and customers that it is something that will fit seamlessly into their everyday is to domesticate it. And so a lot of the plastic, or I guess this is one way to perceive some of these choices being made. And I did read an article at one point that I can't cite now. So now I feel a little bit like wary of bringing it up because I'm not citing my sources. But this is what I recall from that really cool class and project that I did. Was sort of that cream color on the old dinosaur computers was a way of visually softening this appliance that was now in your house, right? If you look at a sewing machine from that same period of time, it's made in that same plastic. I'm sure that there is cost rationale for... I'm sure you could say, okay, well, that cream-colored plastic was it was an efficiency, economically speaking, and so then that's really why it was in every household. But if you connect all the dots, that's sort of the impact. It's also part of why, or at least I read an article that was tying it all through, linking it all together, that a lot of the speakers like the Alexa and the whatever Amazon Home, for sure, like speakers need to be soft, right? That's with microphones, there's this windscreen on them and it's plush and fluffy, quite literally called a dead cat sometimes. I don't like calling it that as a cat lover, but just to say, these devices are so fluffy that they're even being referred to like that. But those speakers that are, once again, meant to be in the household and meant to be sort of glossed over visually, accepted in, and meant to sort of I don't know, optimize your domestic life, but to first be accepted in that space and not feel like this crazy data-driven imposition. The way to do it is, well, you can literally order like a cute little TIE Fighter case for your Echo Dot. I know because I've thought about getting one. But you can, these speakers, they look sort of fabric. They come in cute colors. Mine is light blue. The idea that that's the same impact. All of this to say, I've been really loving designing with the color cream when I put together apps. I'm going to transition back real quick. I'm going to make myself the main because I've lost the work that I have done in this window and I don't know how to find it again. So while I find it again, I'm going to just be the main thing on the screen. But I think that is probably the implicit bias behind why I'm liking designing with cream when I make apps. As I think in my mind, I'm like, look how cozy. Because in actuality, I am a night mode user through and through. So cream doesn't necessarily make sense for me. Although there are apps that don't adhere to light or dark mode, like Goodreads, again, for example, is always cream. The reason in this context, though, cream does make sense is because to me, it's like the color of paper, like a book page. Okay. Well, this is really awkward. This has instead been a lesson in extemporaneous speaking and me imparting some of my favorite college wisdom to you all, because Adobe XD is not reopening and it will not show me my window. And I think it's because it's hung up on OBS. So I don't think I can sit and troubleshoot it and get us to a point where we can do more. But I'm realizing as I'm saying that this is Yes and UI. And I really should be figuring out how to keep going. And my iPad is here and it's charged. And I promised I was going to wireframe an app. And the first creators that I saw wireframing UI online were just doing it with paper and Sharpie. And I've got an iPad here. So I guess we'll do that. That was a hell of a vamp though, right? You low-key got like a 30-minute college class. So let's do it. I'm going to take the cream. Or no, I need to be realistic about how I approach this. Okay. Let me draw some rectangles. I know you're not going to be able to see it. I'll periodically flip it around. But I am going to narrate what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay. So we have a rectangle. Ooh, these rectangles are colored in. Hold on. So, cream. Okay. So first and foremost, we need like a launch screen. From the launch screen, you would probably register or join. Let's look ahead a little bit. Let's imagine that registration and everything's happened. We are living in a world where this app already exists. It's commonplace and friends are connecting with each other on it, friends and or strangers. Tumblr communities is like, I don't know. Tumblr communities is trying to be a thing that exists. And the way that it works is it will just literally show up in your feed. based on whatever theme or fandom or whatever that you have decided to join the community of. And then only people in that community can comment on it. A little bit, I feel like this could do that. I wonder if Scar Lit. So this is our launch. We'll do a little. Okay, we'll do. So that's launch. We'll do login or sign up. Cool. So that's our launch screen. Ooh, you can't see much. From there, did y'all hear that sniffle? I think that sniffle kind of sounded yucky if you did hear it. I'm not sniffly either. It just kind of came out of nowhere right there. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm hearing with my ears or if I'm hearing with my monitor ear, and it's microphone. It's being amplified louder and louder. So I just feel the need to acknowledge it. Okay. So as promised, I think up here, not as promised, but as I was just saying, I think when you launch the app, once you've already logged in, you have almost like group chats, like you have your communities that you're already in. And I like the idea of this being like an interactive thing. Like DIY, because you can make your own stories an episode, can't you? Am I making that up? What if you could? Doesn't matter if you can or not. What if you could? You log on and there's a bunch of groups. So I'm going to try and come up with like group friend names. Maybe these are D&D pals that play together. They're doing their campaign in this app. I'm going to do old MMTD. TD being theater department, MM being I don't know. I just, as a former theater department kid, could see myself having something like this back in the day. So whatever, like theater friends are doing it, D&D friends are doing it, maybe online friends, online buds, group chat. And then those are the groups you're in. I'm going to do a home button up top. And then this is explore. In case maybe. So these are groups looking for members. And then you could join these other groups. Maybe there's a recommended. I could see if someone's doing like a, I don't know, a Hunger Games story. Like maybe these are tagged in a way that has it come up. Okay, that's a little bit like what, can you see that? It's all blurry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm like, I have this auto forcing a depth of field situation, and so like my Luke Skywalker is blurry. So is my iPad when I play iPad Baby with you all. Okay, but so that's how you find things. The next thing would be to show you the interface when you're actually in a group. So once you're in a group, in my mind, there's a members tab. Ooh, okay. Okay, there's a progress log. in my mind, it looks... Okay, hold on. So you have whatever image so that you know what group you're in up top. That's like a picture. Let me try and draw... I'll just draw a star, I guess. I was going to try and draw like the mockingbird from Hunger Games. Or, hold on. Or some sort of Star Wars symbol. But we're going to commit to a star. And now it looks like the little Pixar ball. So maybe that's what this group is up to. And then in the same way that a group chat has, if you click to the side, it shows you the members. I guess I'll doodle out what that looks like. Is then you have all of the profiles listed. In my mind, if whoever has admin status can delete, you can get deleted if you're not on your best behavior, or if you make a stupid joke and the rest of the theater group wants to remove you. I don't know. Never speaking from experience on that one. We have the progress log. So in my mind, this is like, Devin updated your story. Updated like avatar clothes or whatever, wardrobe. Then it's like Littlefoot 2K exclamation point, added a new chapter. So this is the progress log, and then down here I guess there's like a button that's like take me to changes. And I think, so this is something we've thought through as a team with other apps, is this app for people creating and enjoy, like people that are enjoying the creation process, or is it for people that are enjoying the reading the stories process? And I think this is probably meant to be more for the creatives. Surely, like in my mind, like there are people enjoying the things being created, like AO3 type thing. But in my mind, what's unique about this is that it's like meant to make it cuter, more collaborative, and collaborative at all. I don't know much, if anything, about AO3 or what it looks like behind the scenes. I like have vague familiarity with Wattpad from middle school. But the idea that like that's something that to my knowledge doesn't exist. Like at work, we have task management systems, right? Like you get on GitHub or whatever. I mean, I don't because I'm not a developer, but where you can assign tickets and tell people what to work on next. Similarly, for like a group of friends doing a creative project, something like I don't know, even if it's just silly, like playing episode, it's like all in one place for you in my mind. And then you can go in, and this is like, to me, I think it's a mix of when you set up your own episode story, which you would do independently. I think if that's a feature at all, it is an independent feature. But also like playing Sims. In my mind, this is probably a little bit like playing Sims, but way dumbed down and sillier graphics. I think there's probably like templates that you can use and then add to when it comes to adding responses and creating a story and stuff like that. And then you share all the story together. And so then it's fun because not only are you like in the fanfic community, people read fics, right? But then I feel like you get so far into like the world of a fic that you're invested in, that Like, I think surely fans that are reading stuff have a set, like, they have investment in where it goes from then, or they want to build upon whatever world, whatever story. And they could then add or submit their own, like, little episode chapter, maybe. And that, I think, is a wrap on that. I obviously haven't set up, like, what any of the templates look like. And this is a pretty, like, outlandish app idea. We didn't quite take it from concept to wireframe the way I wish we could have. But that's because this is such an immense, idea. But let's circle back to the initial words and just see, like, what the heck even happened. Oh, if I can. I don't know if I can get back to my words even. Yes, I can. Thank goodness. I didn't close the Safari window. Our words were date, instruction, great, torture, mystery, payment, and flower. And I think the primary one we left behind is flower. But not really, because the concept, the heart of this app is we're taking a bunch of ingredients and we're allowing everyone to get together, like a little date, if you will, and work together, instruct each other through something, get rid of the great torture that comes with creating something, and they're able to build mysteries and tell great stories collaboratively. And then as for payment, I'm sure there's just paid features because everything has a paid feature these days. So that's it. This has been sort of an off the rails version of Yes and UI today. But I hope it was somewhat entertaining. It was interesting to roll with the punches, become iPad baby mid episode as Adobe crashed on me for whatever reason. And I hope you enjoyed the weird side tangent about one of the college classes I went to, or one of the classes I took in college. I'm like 4 years out from graduating and I still remember some of the course material though. Pretty cool. Just using your brain and thinking that way, I think, is so valuable. And the fact that we can, like, students still remember lessons like that. Really, like, okay, that's all. Never mind. It's gonna go on a tangent. And I can't go on that tangent right now. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will maybe see you all again for New Music Friday. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna advocate for, even as live streaming may be coming to an end, maybe still doing New Music Fridays just as a little treat for me. But we will see. In the off chance that it is somehow not, and this is the last live stream ever, sayonara. And in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This has been a Driven Catalyst live stream.